Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss the 2024 Sony Marvel-ish feature film, Madam Web. About 2 hours long. It's very long. Parts drag like hell. It's a very confusing movie to watch because so much changed between when they approved the script to when they filmed it to when the trailer came out to post-production to when the product came out. And it's not a good film. It's it's a okay film. It's entertaining. It kind of gives us a plot, despite the motives of the villain is not really logical. Let me kill these girls because they're going to kill me eventually. It's just a weird little thing. There's a big plot flaw. Like, how the hell does Cassie have her mom's journal if she was in a foster care for so long? Like, just things, right? Just little things like that. The trailer that was presented to us is that these four individuals, Cassie, Maddie, Anya, and Julia, who all are this Spider-Woman character at one various point or another in various multiverses. So they're all together for this Madam Web project. And you see like posters of Spider-Man in the background of alleys and stuff like that. And we're like, okay, so it's part of the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe. It's part of the MCU. And then they announce it's created in 2003. The plot takes place in 2003, and we're like, no, wait, we can't be Tom Holland's related because Tom Holland was 15 in 2015's Captain America Civil War, so that's not how that works. It's not how that works. So then they eventually then showed the trailer, different trailers then, and took out all references of Spider-Man, but it's the Spider-Man multiverse then. And we're like, okay. And then it was revealed at one point that the villain's plot was that he wants to destroy Mary Parker. Mary and Richard are the parents of Peter Parker, and then Ben and May are the aunt and uncle of Peter Parker. So then it was the plot of, okay, I'm going to destroy Mary and Richard. That way Peter's never born. That way he's never my antithesis or something to that extent. But then it got changed to let me destroy these girls who are the Spider-Woman characters. But then it's never a reference of how they get their powers and all these things of what the future can be. And that was the point of the end, fine. But the only time we see these Spider-Woman characters in their Spider-Woman garb is in these like potential vision things via the villain and via Cassandra Webb. I don't actually see them in actual garb fighting bad guys, doing their Spider-Woman stuff with their spider senses and things. No reference of where their powers come from, nothing of that extent. It's just these visions of them in the costumes. That's cheap. If you're going to give us a Spider-Woman film, give us Spider-Woman doing Spider-Woman stuff. Cheap. It's false advertising. That's what that's come into play. We've gone through false advertising books and movies and TV shows a plethora of times. This is a prime example of false advertising. Dakota Johnson had referenced numerous times in interviews that the project that was pitched and the project that she signed on to was not the project that was then delivered to us. A lot of script changes. Sydney Sweeney referenced in an interview that she agreed to this because this gave her the partnership with Sony, which then greenlit Anyone But You, and then Barbella, which is another film she's doing. I don't think it filmed yet. I think it's in pre-production as of right now. But that was a whole business deal on Sydney Sweeney. And Sydney actually went to school for business and then decided to do acting. So it's because she had that business degree that she's using it to good use. And this is a prime example of it. Do this awful garbage in order to get in. That way you're in and then can make things you want moving forward. Anyone But You did an incredible job. Her and Glenn were absolutely fantastic together. And we talked about that not recently, a little while ago. But that was a wonderful film. And the only reason that got made is because she agreed to do Madam Web. I liked how Ben and Mary had scenes together. Ben as in Adam Scott's character of Ben Parker, and Mary Parker, brother and sister-in-law, rushing then to get to the hospital for Peter to be born. But Peter's never referenced as Peter Parker. And Ben is not referenced as Ben Parker to my knowledge of watching this. I don't remember them saying the full Ben Parker name. I know Parker's on his name tag, and his name is Ben. But something with that, Disney's Marvel contract is of certain Spider-Man names and characters, and Sony's Marvel contract is of certain Spider-Man names and characters. It's an interesting mumbo-jumbo jargon, but this film did terrible in theaters because it's not a good film in regards to storytelling, in regards to moving the plot along, and these vision scenes are just so confusing. It's a matter of, it's a what if film, and it's a matter of, okay, I'm seeing this 1 minute scene, and then we circle back a minute, and then it's told again, but from then Cassie's perspective in a different aspect. And you're like, so if she can change it, what's the point of seeing it? Or instead of just a full scene, why don't we just get flashes of glimpses? And they do flashes of glimpses at the end, which is fine, but that's another tease. Why are you giving us a full scene and then doing the scene again? It's 2 hour film, did not have to be 2 hours of film. Could have easily condensed those vision scenes into flashes. Dumb. The thing that really annoyed me and a lot of people is there's a certain scene in 2004's Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire that they use of, like, him test swinging or whatever, and he's swinging from building to building, and there's a camera shot of him going over a brick building or something like that. And they use the same exact footage in this film in a vision scene of the Spider-Women all swinging together or something to that extent. The Cassie's vision at the end. It was very end, like minute 47 or something like that. Why are you reusing footage from a different universe? I don't get it. A lot of lazy writing with this. A lot of just what idiot approved these things, these changes that the women agreed to. The film the women agreed to is not the film that was given to us. So why? This did terrible at the box office. It did terrible with critics. It was the #1 trending film on Netflix for quite some time, specifically because everybody needed to see why the hell this is referenced as such trash. And now that we have all seen it referenced as such trash, there's no need to ever see it again. It's unfortunate. You have extremely talented individuals given a trash script, and this is what happens. We just talked about the movie we just talked about in regards to reviews. You have extremely talented individuals given trash script. Why? Why is this allowed to continue? This has to change. This is an embarrassment to cinema, how cinema came about in regards to a technological front. This is an embarrassment to that. Speaking of embarrassment to that, what the hell CGI did we see in regards to the spider people in Peru, in regards to the spiders that her mom was trying to investigate in Peru, in the Amazon in Peru? Thankfully, we get a backstory of why the hell she was there, but what third-rate CGI was this spider people and spider arachnid garbage? It looked like it was the C cut of the film rather than the actual final cut of the film when they showed these CGI things. And we're like, did you circle back to 2001's Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire? That CGI was far better than this. This one came out in 2024. It was 23 years after 2001 Spider-Man came out. Embarrassment. Absolutely embarrassment towards this. 2002 Spider-Man came out. Embarrassment to this franchise. Embarrassment to Marvel. Awful. And I'm extremely nervous watching Craven eventually as time goes on because of how bad Morbius was, because of how bad Madam Web is, and how horrible Craven has been getting in regards to reviews and box office failure, for that matter. And it's unfortunate because Aaron Taylor Johnson worked his butt off to gain like 30 pounds of muscle or something like that, specifically to play this character. He's a wonderful person, but I don't understand why wonderful, talented individuals are getting these awful scripts. And the movies are not doing these extremely talented individuals justice. It's unfortunate. It's a disservice. We're going to keep on with our little Marvel movie marathon for the time being. I want to watch the stuff we haven't talked about, which is then referenced and characters are brought back for the Deadpool and Wolverine film, which I never actually saw yet. So we're going to do a little marathon of Marvel, watch that, get back into our other random list of things we have to do. Yeah. Madam Web. No. On to the next review. Mahalo.